Welcome to Inside Leisure World number 28. My name is Betty Martin.
Welcome to Inside Leisure World. This is the program number 38. I'm Mary Apt, your host.
Hello, I'm Irving Wasserman, and this is our 42nd Inside Leisure World show.
I am Hal Robertson with the Leisure World Video Producers Club.
Hello, everyone. I'm Claudine Young. I'm with the Video Producers Club here in Leisure World.
I'm Dick Davies. I'm your host for Inside Leisure World. And we have a very special guest.
Hey, welcome to this edition of Inside Leisure World. My name is Rob Roy, and today I've got some...
Welcome to Inside Leisure World number 76. We've gathered here together celebrating 75 terrific shows in the past, and I have hosts with me here from several of those shows. I wanted to talk to you about the opening you just saw. That last roll-in was from the very first series of Inside Leisure Worlds. Rob Roy, you produced those shows.
Thank you, Mary. Yes, I decided to, like Bill Doan said earlier in the show, he said that we wanted to try to focus on what was going on inside Leisure World, because it's such a great community and there's a lot of talent and there's a lot of things that are going on in there that we didn't know about. So we decided to resurrect Inside Leisure World. It had started back in 1987, I think, and then it kind of got off the charts there, and then we started up again in 1996 with Bill Doan and that. So it's really great to be back with all the hosts here too.
Bob Slater, did you see some changes in Leisure World since that first roll-in was made?
Well, I wasn't here in '87, but I was certainly here in the '90s, so I've seen virtually everything since then, and yeah, a whole bunch. I mean, I would think probably later on in this show you'll probably highlight some of the changes in Leisure World. But
Well-
certainly a bunch.
Okay. Betty?
Yes. Changes? Well, I see some changes in the montages that started off the Leisure Worlds, and it's been fun going through the different hosts that have appeared during the years, and I really enjoyed the years, the months that I hosted the show. In fact, being down here today makes me want to come back.
That's great. Joe, what changes did you see since the first roll-in was made?
Well, I just came here recently. I'm the new guy on the block. I did episode number 75, so I haven't seen too many new changes since I've gotten on board.
Okay. Whoa.
As you probably
Irving.
know, my name is Irving Wasserman, and yes, there has been quite a few changes around Leisure World, and I'm pleased to say that I was around to see all these things, and I expect to be around for quite some time. No, I hosted about 4 or 5 shows, I guess. Whenever I found somebody I wanted to interview, they said, "Okay, you're the guy that do the hosting. If it's your guest, you do the hosting." So that's what happened, and that's how I became one of the hosts. So I was very
Okay.
glad to do that.
You want to hand the mic to right behind you there, Ray.
That's me.
You asked about, well, what has changed? Have the buses changed?
The buses have changed. The medical center has changed. We've got a brand new clubhouse. What is it, number 6 now? I think it's number 6. That new, well, it replaced the
old
A-frame
A-frame.
that was kind of getting termite loaded. We've got dogs now that we didn't have before. They can be a benefit to, especially to, they've showed that pets are helpful to seniors, helps them survive a lot longer. So we're all going to be around a lot longer, courtesy of the pups.
Well-
yeah, you didn't see me in too many of those shows as a host. I was always the guy out on remote.
Well, we're going to show some of that, and we couldn't continue using that roll-in that you made, Rob, because for one thing, it's no longer the Orange County Library. It's our own library now.
Yeah, there was a lot of different changes there that I noticed. Like you said, the Orange County Library, and of course, there's no longer that small world by the amphitheater anymore. And
I hope that Hal Robertson would be here to talk about that, because he actually took pictures of the demolishing that went on before the new medical center went in, and he had a picture of that. They just took a bulldozer and rolled that thing off, and it crashed on its own weight eventually, and it was quite a sight.
yeah, you can see how the shows has changed, especially when you get new people involved. Irving did a great job on his opening too. It's nice to see a lot of different things that are going on inside Leisure World. As the beginning of the show opens, you can see all the different things, all the activities that goes on right there in inside Leisure World.
And our show is always growing and changing.
We used to take the truck down there. When we first started inside Leisure World, the first time when it was Comcast, we'd take the truck down there in Clubhouse 3 and set up in Clubhouse 3 the 3 cameras, the lights, and then we had a hostess, and then the guests came on there, and they talked about everything that was going on in Leisure World also there. So, and now that we're down here in the studio, everybody comes down here to produce the inside Leisure World that you see now.
It's a great privilege to be here in this nice studio. Our own producers make shows of a lot of the facets of Leisure World, but this is the show that is the the center in which we try to fulfill that commitment that we have to our city, and that fulfills the contract between the cable company and the city to really be a public access program. And Betty, you did what you call government work sometimes, and sometimes things that really just pleased yourself. You had guests that were kind of personal guests.
That's true. I did, when I was doing my government work, that would be like times that I had the maintenance crew on that talked about getting us new refrigerators or, the maintenance jobs in our apartments. And I had Mr. Narang on at the time that they were building the new medical center. He came on and talked about that. I had Annika, the
herbalist. Was she the herbalist at the pharmacy?
Yeah, she is the chief pharmacist at the healthcare center, but she is really into herbs and natural medicines as much as possible, as opposed to just prescriptions, but she really knows what she's doing, and she was a very interesting guest. Then I found Janice Bayless, who was had written a book about analyzing dreams, and she was really good and very interesting. We learned how to analyze our own dreams. And let's see, Carol Franz was the astrologer, and she took us through our astrology signs and talked about that. The Chinese community, we had them on. We had the Dutch,
I think some of these sort of fell between government work and personal pleasure.
Those were the ones that I meant that were really a pleasure, as opposed to the. I didn't call those my government work. My government work had to do with Leisure World itself, the runnings of Leisure World.
Did you interview Tom Barrett?
I didn't do Tom Barrett, no.
Oh, he was a guest on one of our shows. Yeah. I'd forgotten who hosted that show. Bob.
About 4 months ago. Tom was on about 4 months ago.
I didn't realize it was that recent.
Maybe 5.
Wow.
Maybe 5. And an interesting guest. Tom was a...
Yes, he was a very good
Unlike Betty, most of my guests have been clubs of one sort or another. Certainly Tom would be, big-time Leisure World,
that's government work.
That's government work, yeah. But, some of the club people and had some... one of the planning commissioners was on, Phil Ladner was on, and one of the mutual presidents. And I'm used to pretty much of a potpourri with me. It was pretty much really trying to maybe show a different side or a new side that hadn't been shown before.
And Joe, you've just done one show, and who was it that you interviewed?
Okay, we had a chance to see the Oasis Clowns. The Oasis Clowns is a large organization that visits hospitals and convalescent homes. And these particular 5 individuals are residents of Leisure World. Very colorful group, very talented group. They do many other things besides being clowns.
It ain't just funny, is it? It's real good.
Yeah, there's lots of talent there.
Good work they do. And that's not government work. Well, we're going to see another roll-in now that will be about the party we had for hosts. And some of you were at the party and some weren't. Your greatest contribution to Inside Leisure World has been as the guy out in the field, that we're such a big station that we can just throw it out to the field and bring in Ray Jarris, who is almost anywhere. I like the one in the garden, the mini gardens.
How are you, Bill? Say, we are here at a very unusual location this time, inside Leisure World. This is the garden, and I'd like you to meet my good friend, Art Artichoke. And there's a whole garden. And here's one of the young gardeners here. How are you, sir? What's your name?
Jim Ward.
Jim Ward. How are you, Jim? I'm Ray Jarris.
Hi, Ray.
And could you tell us a little bit about the gardens and how it functions and what's the waiting time and whatever you can tell us about it.
Yes, I couldn't tell you about the waiting time. It all depends, but you can get that information from the Secretary of the Gardens, you know.
Well, Bill, you had a chance to meet my friend Art Artichoke down the way there. And I'll tell you, I'm going to stop and spend a little time with my friend Sonny the Sunflower. So it's back to you, Bill. As a producer, I couldn't very well be out there and in the studio at the same time, so that's why I'm not really ever seen as a host in the studio.
Anything more to say about Inside Leisure World?
Well, it's something that I think should continue to be done. It gives new residents of Seal Beach, of Leisure World and of Seal Beach, an opportunity to find out exactly what's going on here, because all they know is, well, we're the majority group of citizens and votes for Seal Beach, and so they should know what we're about, and we should know what they're about, and we should know what's going on in our own community.
Claudine, I wanted to know what you think about the whole program, and should we continue? So we've got 75 segments now. Why are we doing this? It's a lot of work.
You have new people coming in all the time and things to learn. My object always was to show all the interesting people in Leisure World, and there are so many, and how many exercise classes there are. There's so much to be learned about Leisure World that people outside don't know, and you always get new watchers. I would keep it up, certainly. I'm sure they're interested in what we do.
Inside Leisure World is a hosted show. Now, you hosted how many segments?
3, just 3.
And you had some really special guests.
I had. Shall I name them?
Yes, go ahead.
One was Bob Dodson, who was a beautiful photographer. I've never seen anybody that can do the work he does. I think there's a computer involved.
Photography, yes.
Yes,
it belongs to the photographic
show
art here. This was taken in England. And as you see, we have a manor at the back here, an old house there, and these beautiful trees. I thought this was so relaxing, so soft, you know.
You can't take pictures like that with a brownie, can you?
Actually, if you have, not really, you'd have to work at it in the darkroom to get it like this. But nevertheless,
I'm so amazed at the way the leaves stand out.
Brownie cameras could take good pictures if you have good light. That's when you can lower the aperture very narrow, and then everything comes in focus. But that's getting rather technical. Yes. At Huntington Library, and that's the Cactus Garden.
Hal, how did you feel when you got in front of the camera down there at the studio and you were host of Inside Leisure World?
Well, I was so used to it already because of Hollywood, you know.
When you came out of the woods in northern Minnesota, you made it big when you came to...
That's right. I caught the biggest fish there, and I figured I caught the biggest fish here in Hollywood. Seal Beach. No. But anyway, this shooter went to Australia to defend his title, and I understand that he did defend his title. I don't think anybody else was ever going to take him on and surpass him in the number of free throws he's thrown.
And I don't think we have very many Guinness World Record holders here in Leisure World. So thank you for...
We do have another one, though, that threw horseshoes. Do you remember him?
Oh, yes. Did you interview him?
Yes, I did. Quite a few years ago.
I think that was part of a roll-in that Ray Jarris did, and I believe that became part of Inside Leisure World.
Well, that's the one where I threw the ringer, but you shut it off before I went over the stage.
It was Ray's fault. Thank you very much. Okay, let's have Irv in front of the camera here for a few minutes. Leisure World.
Right.
On the program, you've been floor manager, you've been sound man. And you actually came in front of the camera. How many, do you know how many segments you hosted?
I think there were 3. I had Florence Ellers, she's in the theater club, you know, and I did Paul Morris, the head of the orchestra, and recently retired, but he still going to be with the corrals, but that would be great. We sure appreciate his work. You know, about what questions to ask and how to keep the program going and so on. I thought it was very good.
I think you're probably the only one of our whole group that has been a guest on Inside Leisure World.
Also 3 times.
And
I was when the program was first an idea of doing the Inside Leisure World. It was Rob Roy that called me on the phone and asked me if I would be the first guest on there.
And you were.
And I was. And then, of course, I talked about being an actor in Hollywood and whatever, you know. But that was very interesting, very good. So I was in both ends of the program.
I've done about every job there is to do on the program. I don't know how many shows that I actually produced, but I came after Rob Roy, who restarted Inside Leisure World. He had done it originally, and I'm not sure how many programs he did originally, and then there was a gap. And then he restarted it, did about 10, 12 programs, and then asked me if I would take over as producer. And I said, sure.
some time had gone by, yes, and we started, we went through the class with Robin together, and then we thought this was a very important thing to continue or to get going again. How do you feel about it now that you've worked so hard on it?
Well, I feel fine about it. I'm still working on it every month.
And you want to encourage our new members to take part in?
Well, absolutely.
See,
it's a lot of fun. You learn a lot, and you learn how to use the studio cameras, how to use the studio equipment, and we can use their Hilton setup too. We do that show live to tape. In other words, we don't, we do it just as if we're doing a live show, only we tape it, and then it's sent up to Santa Ana, where it's put on the air several times during the month, the following month.
yes, I think that's an important thing to remember, and that means there's no editing done, so our views, the views shared by our guests, you hear them just the way they said them.
Yeah. My two stints as host were with guest Bill Narang, and very interesting shows.
And that does point out the importance of live to tape, that we aren't doctoring up what he had to say in any way, that we just play it the way it went, and he was a very good guest. Do you have anything else to say?
Just that I think he is probably the best interview I've ever done.
Bob Slater, you've been host of Inside Leisure World. Tell us about that experience for you.
I think my idea of the host in Inside Leisure World is to maybe expand. My role, I guess, as a host is to try to augment or supplement what everybody else is doing. So my choice of guests have been maybe not the norm. I mean, Tom Barrett was a very interesting host, so was George Bosch in addition, the first edition we've had on. So I'm trying to look in just different directions of what has been done in the past. However, I think the good thing about public TV is that we as a group, and some of your other people have certainly alluded to it, is the fact that we can do a lot more educating through the various programs we now have on Seal Beach TV that we produce. We as Seal Beach, as Leisure World producers, do in addition to all the things that, downtown does. So there's so many more things on Channel 3 now than it was 4 years ago.
This has been a host of hosts. Thanks for being here today for a host of hosts. This represents a lot of commitment to our program, Inside Leisure World.
That was good.
Well, it was my idea to try to get all the hosts together, and I realized from the very outset that it would probably be impossible. And I did not have everyone at the breakfast. I'm sorry, Betty, that you were not at the breakfast, but we had a good time. And we've gotten together again, and still there are people missing, and Bill Doan is one who's been missing at both events. And so let's talk about Bill, because he's not here, but he's certainly been a big part of Inside Leisure World. How did you find it to work with him, Rob?
Bill was my first choice as a host because I knew that he could speak eloquently and he could ask the good questions, and he had a good presence about him in front of the camera. So he was a natural one for me to pick out to be the first host on Inside Leisure World. He's good to work with. He knew his P's and Q's. You know, when you get the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you're on. You know, he picked that up good. And when you threw it to a public service announcement, he was right there, and he did his homework. He asked the good questions for his guests and stuff, and he really looked like he enjoyed being the host there. So yeah, I thought Bill was a good choice for first. But then, boy, all of a sudden you got other people there that did just as good a job as Bill did too. As they came in, Dick Davies filled right in, Betty filled right in, Bob, and you know, you name it. And you were a host, and I was a host, and but it was good to work with Bill.
Some of us were really shaking in our boots.
It does get intimidating when you first start, but once the cameras get rolling and you get in the groove of it, it seems to fly by. A half hour has gone by quick.
He had Bill Doan been a guest on the other hosted show that's done on SBTV3?
Yes, he was a guest host on for Rick Papp at one time. In fact, that's when I saw him. Then I said, "Man, this guy should have his own show." And that's one of the reasons why I kind of tried to re-resurrect Inside Leisure World, because wow, there's Bill. He has a good host, and we got a lot of people in the crew. Not only is it the host, but it's the crew too. The camera people, the director, the audio person, everybody pitches in to make that show what it is, and that's what makes it really good too.
Ray, you've helped out as crew for the downtown people quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I've managed to get to operate the cameras, even the VTRs back there, make sure that the roll-in came in at the right time. Did a lot of the timing for Richard's show, and he does the
just another religious
program. Yeah. And but the main thing I appreciate that we can provide this continuity especially for new people that come into Leisure World. You know, when I moved in here, I had certain ideas about how things were supposed to be done, and they don't do things the same way here you do elsewhere, and so that it's a handy medium to provide that information to new people coming in to Leisure World. And then there's a lot of shut-ins that can't get out, so that this gives them an opportunity to see what the rest of the community is doing for them.
I hope that it makes people feel at home in Leisure World when they first come, and even afterwards if they've, you know, as you say, become homebound or something. Irving, you've gotten letters of thanks for different programs you've put on, haven't you, from Leisure Worlders?
I kept every one of them, too. Yes, I do some programs, and they do some nice little thank you notes, and I think that's very nice for people to do that. Because it just means that I've done something that they enjoy doing also.
You've kind of specialized in bringing the entertainment that various clubs have for their club meetings, and people that aren't in that club or people that can't get out
I'm still doing that, of course. That's the kind of thing I enjoy doing. Is these various clubs. There's maybe 200 clubs in Leisure World, but some of them are, well, they hire the professional entertainment, and that's the kind of thing that I like to videotape. So I videotape that, put that on television, and I do get comments quite often that they saw me show, and hey, I saw you on your show, and you know that makes me feel good. That's good. But I think that what Inside Leisure World, while we producers are doing Inside Leisure World, and I think that we're doing a great thing for Leisure World itself.
Joe, do you want to
Joe,
have something
you
to
have
say
something?
about the whole matter?
Sure.
You've met Bill Doan and
Yes.
all these other hosts.
Yeah, they're great guys. But Irving was touching on projects that we have done as producers,
Oh,
other
yes.
projects, and just wanted the audience to know that these guys are very talented. Besides being the host of Inside Leisure World, they've been on their own right in other programs. And if we have the time, we'll talk about Irving's Make Us Laugh program as an example that's currently showing now. We have a famous guy behind us, Rob, who's got Studio Cafe, and it's a successful program's going on now. Mary App in front of me here is takes turns hosting Leisure World as we see it. And then Bob Slater, who's the president behind me here of the Theater Club of Leisure World, has some tremendous productions that he has put on live and then taped and shown to the audience. So we have tremendous talents in Leisure World that most of us don't realize, and they're developing as we get a little more experience under our belt.
And we surely don't want elderly people who come into Leisure World to feel that they are in an oasis away from anything that they could enjoy as a community. So I'm so glad that the new building has the hospitality center, and I think as we do our program Inside Leisure World, maybe we can be the TV hospitality center for this community, and we have a lot to do there.
Yeah, Mary, I just wanted to add, you know, that some of the guests that we've had on Inside Leisure World, we've had the Guinness guy that plays basketball, shoots free throws on there. As Hal was saying, we've had the #1 horseshoe player. We've interviewed people on the lawn bowling. So I mean, it's not that you just stay in the studio. You guys are out inside Leisure World, getting the interviews and talking to some of the people who have really shown through their years and stuff. So
in the early archives, there are a lot of tapes of bowling tournaments and fantastic things like that the early guys with the porta-packs went out with the truck, and they did all kinds of tournaments.
I hate Marquette.
Yes, some people I never knew, but Hal Robertson, who is still with us, was a part of some of that. And my gosh, they did a lot of work that maybe will get done again. I think that Irving is not volunteering to do another ping pong tournament, though.
Not ping pong, or I have done a ping pong tournament, yes, and I have done a shuffleboard thing recently. As a matter of fact, it's on just this month.
Oh, really?
Yes, and no, I was going to say that yes, sports is always important. Things are ongoing in Leisure World, and I try to get some of that as well as the entertainment that I like to do, though.
Claudine isn't here today, but she mentioned at the breakfast meeting that we had with the hosts that she liked to show the actual physical activities, dancing. And she has really done a lot of programs about the physical fitness programs in Leisure World, and as well as some about the health. She did a wonderful program at one time about the blood pressure program and
yes,
how it
I've
came
worked
about.
with Claudine quite often, and that was one of the ones that I worked on camera, and Claudine does the interviewing. But we've worked together quite often. Most recently, I guess, is the grand opening of our #6 clubhouse, where I was on camera, and she interviewed Bill Narang and several other people, and I have worked with her quite often.
That's good.
Very nice.
Glaucoma program.
I'm not sure. You'll have to ask.
Yeah, one of the producers here did a program on interocular lens transplants. Who did that
It
one?
must have been Claudine.
That's
She
probably
has-
Claudine. Yeah, these are all terrific shows for, especially for a lot of the people that can't get out, and maybe they don't believe everything they see on the network TV. Well, we're here to tell you we're in your category, and we're providing all these shows, and we're doing all these things. One of the things that I liked was that you always were getting the gardens and the flowers to be shown, because again, I'm interested in providing some visibility to all these things to the people that can't get out to see them.
Yeah, I've traipsed around a whole lot through flower gardens and the flower show. Irving's done some flower shows, and I've done some.
Right. No, we were talking before about the bowling. I think it was would be interesting to see that it's all cooperation. We each have our own part to do. I was down the alley with my camera, taking the people pitching their balls and throwing the balls, and somebody was behind me taking the other part where they're following the ball all the way down.
Yeah, that was Betty.
That was you? Yeah, good. See? So that's right. So we all work together, and we're very happy to be doing that. It takes cooperation. It takes working together to get most of these programs out. That's right.
You know, I'm just beginning to realize that. I've done a lot of lone shows where I do the filming and I do the editing, and I know it would be a lot easier if I could commit to a schedule where I could have a helper.
I've worked with Hal on the bowling tournament, and Mary, you and Hal and I worked on the tall ships when they came into Seal Beach, and that was a fun project. But I'm especially proud also of the the disaster preparedness program in Leisure World. We had the ham radio operators on, and it's amazing the part that they play in having Leisure World ready in case of an earthquake or a plane crash or whatever.
Another flood.
And there's just a lot of people involved in that, but the ham radio people are the ones that really bring it all together and are prepared to get the people moving on things like that. Let's see, what was something else that I had something else, but you know, these senior moments. If I think of something, I'll rip the mic out of your hand later.
Okay, fine. No, I was going to say that we do other things, such as the 40th birthday parade a couple of years ago. I was on camera right behind Fred Cooper, and he was interviewing people, and I was right there with him doing the whole parade.
Bob Slater, how many cameras did you have out for that celebration parade?
We used, I believe, 7 totally, including 2 people with their own camcorders.
Now,
'cause we
Robin
Robin and
did
Rob
the
both
edit.
had cameras, right?
But-
Okay, that's 2, and we had 4 of ours, that's 6, and Ray had his own cam, that's 7, and Betty, so 8 cameras for the
Thank goodness for
yeah,
Betty's.
yeah.
So we got a little continuity. That show was edited by Robin, and I think she's going to prepare it for a WAVE Award. And you know, Rob, you won a WAVE Award, and I was going to take it off the wall and bring it in here for you to hold up to show people, and I forgot about that at the last minute. But
That was in fact, that was the first show that we had done. We brought it back, and who was on the show escapes me. My senior moment there.
but you got a WAVE Award. That is the Western.
We actually the Video Producers Club of the Leisure World Video Producers Club got the award. I was just helped produce it. We all got it. So.
Yeah, the program Inside
program,
Leisure World won that award. Well, we're going to see some moments right now from the actual show, some of the interviews.
Our very first guest today is the man who is responsible for most of those activities. You saw the amphitheater. That's where he puts on shows for all of our residents in Leisure World, you saw the horseshoe pits, you saw the golf course, you saw the swimming pool. All of those fall under the jurisdiction of Fred Cooper, who is sitting right here on my right. Welcome to the show, Fred.
Thank you, Bill.
Fred and I have known each other, I guess, for about 18 years. I think you are the senior of all the department heads in Leisure World, are you not?
Yes, I am.
I thought you were, and you've done an excellent job down through the years. Everyone really enjoys.
Thank you.
And you've just started your amphitheater programs for the year.
I'm coming up on 26 years there at the World, as they call it.
Well, you get a lot of people from the big band era, I know, because so many of us,
Yes.
we grew up in that era.
Well, yes. Connie Haynes, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Big band singer.
Tommy
I had
Dorsey.
Harry James's band the other night. Art Depew runs that band. We get the same stuff back. Well, but that's maybe the biggest audiences I get. Biggest audiences I get are still from the Welk people.
Isn't that
and yet
something?
I still get some people who say, I don't want to see them. I've seen them all, for so many years. But no, I try.
Yeah,
I try.
know you do. And while you're doing this, while you're making these arrangements and doing all the things that go on, you still have the responsibility of all the clubhouses and the golf course and the swimming pool. We're running out of time.
Okay.
And I want to thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming
having
by
me.
and taking the time
I
to
appreciate
join
it.
us on this
Thank
show.
you.
Thank you very much. Sydney
So they tell me.
Weiss is a stand-up comic. She has appeared at the Sahara, the Continental, and the Tropicana hotels. She has been in the Comedy Store and Laugh Factory in Los Angeles and several lounges here and around Orange County. She is now 80 years of age, and she still is making people laugh. Weiss cracks, and they're some of the funniest reading that I have come across in my many years of reading humorous material.
Can't be independent anymore, so it's a little sad. But the people are very kind. Anybody says, I'll take you shopping, I'll do this and that. But I still do my comedy.
Yeah?
Since the accident, I did it 3 times already.
Oh, that's
So as long as I keep up my humor, I'll be okay.
Yes. If you can laugh at life, life isn't quite as
That's
tough.
right. I don't laugh at what happened to me.
No, nobody
But
does.
I can laugh at the things that I see around me. Like I took a little walk of such as I can the other day, and 2 men were walking toward each other. This is very funny. And one stops and said, hey, wait a minute. Tell me, who died, you or your brother? You get older, and the things that you're thinking of don't quite come out right.
Oh, yeah. See if we can come across Ray Jarris, because I think he's up there with Spud Napier.
How's it going down there? I'm here at the Horseshoe Pit inside Leisure World, trying to get a few pointers on just how you do this horseshoe pitching. I haven't been too lucky. You can just look at some of the results of my pitches, and it's a good thing we're at the back wall of Leisure World, because otherwise I'd be paying for some new windows. Maybe I can catch this young fellow over here, and he can give me some pointers on just how you do this game. Hi, I can't help but notice you've been pitching pretty good here. What is your name?
My name is Willard Napier. They all call me Spud.
Would you just, for the camera, show us the technique that you use?
Okay.
Spud, what's the most ringers you've ever thrown in a row?
Well, my record is 53, but of course that was in practice. I have thrown 30 2 or 3 times in tournaments, but that 53 is the most that I ever threw in a row.
Yeah, I guess the competition kind of
makes a difference.
Makes a big difference. What's the world record?
The world record, as far as I'm sure, as far as I know anyway, in competition, and this was done in a world tournament by Ted Allen from Colorado. He threw 72 in a row, which is almost unbelievable, but it happened.
And that was in competition,
that was in the world tournament, so that's very strict competition. So it's amazing. 6 points, and a shoe within 6 inches of the stake is counted as a point, 1 point. and that's more or less the scoring. And all your world championship games go to 40 points. And sometimes it takes a very long time to play a game. If you get two guys playing real good.
All these trophies are over at your house now.
Yeah, I got all my major trophies are still at home. I kept all of those. Yeah. I got 4 world championships, and then I got a class A championship, which is just one notch below the world championship. Then I have a trophy that I value more, probably even more than my world championship trophies, was Jesse Gonzalez Open tournament, which was held at Orange 2 years ago, and I happened to be lucky enough to win that, and that included all the young guys and everything, and I took them all in. And I consider that probably my top trophy.
Agent, thank you very much, Spud. It has sure been a terrific morning seeing you play and hearing and seeing all your trophies. And Bill, I'm going to get back and do a little practice on the pitching before I come back to the studio. So I will see you later.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, that was great. We have a very serious discussion today. We're going to be talking about disaster and disaster preparedness. And when we say disaster, we're not talking about the neckties that I've been wearing on these shows. We're talking about earthquakes and things like that. Merv Smith has been in Leisure World for over almost 18 years now, and he is the one who is in charge of our disaster preparedness program. Welcome to the show, Merv, and would you tell us a little bit about the plan you have in place for our emergency?
Oh, thanks for asking me to be on your show today, Bill. All I've really done is just kind of upgrade the program that my predecessor, George Bedford, had put into place, and his predecessor before him. And we upgrade this program on a yearly basis. This year we chose to adopt the SEMS, or the Standardized Emergency Management System program, that is mandated by the State Emergency Office Services. And this plan was put into place by order of the governor after the disastrous Oakland Hills fire of a few years ago, when all of the agencies rolled in to help the city of Oakland put out the fires. They found their fire hydrant connections wouldn't make up. They found they were on the wrong radio frequencies, and then chaos resulted in, for a long period of time, and as a result of that, property damage was very extreme. So the state has adopted this plan, and the city of Seal Beach has adopted it. I've been very fortunate to be in training with the Red Cross Academy and the city of Seal Beach during their drills. And so we decided that this would be the best plan that Leisure World could adopt also. Leisure World being a very unique community with only certain people there for like 8 hours of the day. Myself, I'm only there 25% of the time, so we felt it was very necessary for the residents to also be trained in this program. As a result of that, for every position that the SEMS program provides, we have provided not only a Golden Rain Foundation employee, but a resident to help out in that area also. The other things that we do, we try to bring in outside agencies. And in the case of our drill, we did bring in the Fire Authority. They were very gracious to come in. The Red Cross provided us with a truck. And of course, the medical center there at Leisure World, which is part of Los Alamitos Medical Center, provided the triage nurses. And it turned out to be a very realistic drill, I think, and we learned a lot from it.
And our director or producer, Dick Davies, has captured some of this, and we're going to be using it today.
The response in any disasters, having people who are trained in first aid that can do these things. And we're very fortunate to have these people with us there at Leisure World, and they did a tremendous job in this drill. I don't know who those were. They worked for the healthcare center.
Oh, I see.
They were all volunteers.
Yeah.
And I understand that they had a makeup artist that had worked at Knott's Berry Farm there to do the makeup on them. So they did come out looking very
realistic,
sick.
I'll tell you.
Of course, in a real disaster,
everyone participates.
Participates, that's right.
Yes.
Everybody says, how are we going to be notified? I said, if it's an earthquake, don't sweat it. You'll know. Mr. Narang, who went through the Northridge earthquake with disastrous results to his house, has been very helpful in his training because he's gone to these meetings and where's my flashlight? It's gone. Where did we hide our emergency food? We don't know. For the first 15 minutes to a half an hour, these are the things that go on in their minds until the earth stops shaking, you get a chance to catch your breath, and then you can go on with your training. And this is where training takes over then.
I would like to introduce you to this very, very lovely lady who is the president of the Chinese Friendship Club, and this is Matilda Chow. Matilda, thank you for coming down and being with us.
Oh, thank you. There's 3 couples. They come from outside. It's my friend.
You have about 32 residents.
residents.
About 32 residents. And most of them, or a lot of them, don't speak English.
Right. And, well, they understand a little bit, but they don't speak very well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but still, most of them are very well educated.
yes.
They're very well educated.
They're very well
people.
interested in China, yeah. We have about, like at May, we have kind of a spring festival. And then we eat we call that dragon, isn't it? Dragon festival.
Dragon boat.
Dragon boat.
And you make little boats out of
sticky rice
and
with meat inside, or with sweet stuff, sweet beans
and you use a
inside.
leaf for the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
August festival, which is
Harvest Moon. That it would be the 15th of August. Always have round moon.
That's your harvest festival.
That's right.
And most of your holidays, the big thing is the good food, right?
Right.
You said you like to eat.
All Chinese like to eat. That's the problem.
Thank you also for wearing your Western Chinese dress and your jade necklace.
Yes,
you bought
from
that
Beijing. 2 years ago.
2 years ago, you were back there with your son on a vacation.
And then this is the dragon that somebody gave me.
Oh,
yeah.
Was that
the
for
gold
this
dragon
year?
For this year.
For this year, for the new year. But this isn't 2,000 in the Chinese. This is
a 4,000 something, almost 5,000.
You said 4,698.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not 2,000 in the Chinese calendar. It's 4,698. Matilda, thank you for coming, and thank you for inviting us to your club.
He is the world champion free throw shooter. I want to introduce to you Dr. Tom Amberry. Good afternoon, Tom. Good to see you.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you here. I feel like I'm a real privilege to have this time and that we can be together. Just a special guest for me today. And Dr. Tom, what does the doctor stand for?
Oh, I was a podiatrist, foot doctor.
And how many years?
Well, I've been a podiatrist for 49 years, but I practiced in Long Beach for 40 years.
By the way, how did you happen to figure on basketball? Why did basketball come into your life?
Well, when I was a podiatrist for 40 years, touched a lot of feet, never a basketball. And at the age of 70, I retired. I had a midlife crisis. I got tired of doing the dishes, vacuuming the rug, watering the flowers. So somebody said, in the olden days, you used to play basketball. Why don't we go out and shoot some baskets? And that's about all I could do, was shoot baskets. I hadn't done anything except take care of feet.
And what happened in November 14th, 1993?
Well, that's when I became the greatest free throw shooter in the world ever. I made 2,750 free throws in a row without a miss. 12 hours at Rossmore Athletic Club in Seal Beach, California.
That is fantastic. When I first heard about that, I just thought it was unbelievable. Enjoyed that.
Yes.
And I understand you turned down a contract one time many years ago in basketball. Who was that for?
Well, that was 1946. That was 46. That was to the Lakers.
Lakers.
The Minneapolis Lakers. They were just starting, and and it was right after the war, and I wanted to go to podiatry school, and so I had a choice of either going to podiatry school or going with the Lakers, and I made the podiatry. Best choice I ever made.
Well,
other than my wife.
The Lakers could have used you too.
Well,
but they had a good team in those years.
That's right.
Well, believe me, it was not an easy job to go through 75 Inside Leisure World shows and pick out the special moments. I thought that's what I wanted to do for a half-hour show, was to have all the hosts on and show our favorite moments from our Inside Leisure World Now, that was a little unrealistic. Then I thought, well, I'll get some help, and we'll make it an hour show. So I got Ron Stahl and Chuck Burnett, a couple of our new members, and Jackie Bunnell to help me. And they were no help at all. They said, these are terrific shows. You ought to show, they made lists that were this long of, show this, show that. And, I was stuck. It was really hard. And Betty, I think I would love to have shown some of the roll-ins that were in the shows.
The Chinese.
I'm sure you were disappointed.
The roll-ins were wonderful. I especially like those because you and I visited their club, and they went all out for us. They had the Chinese brush painting, the mahjong.
Mahjong.
They really had fun. I was ready to dye my hair and change my nationality. They were having so much fun.
Well, Robin suggested to me that I try to stick with the host and the guest in their interchanges, and but someday I think we need to resurrect our shows.
Well, you did a great job, and I know how difficult it was because just the shows that I helped with, I could go on and on and on. I loved it. I did 2 Christmas shows. The first one was, remember Sam the deer that's on St. Andrews Drive, that the lady dresses him up for all the holidays.
Isn't she also a clown?
She is also a clown. So when I went to talk to her about Sam, I found out she was a clown. And Joe, I did the Oasis Clowns for Christmas that year. And we featured Sam, and that was a lot of fun. And then the next year for Christmas, we had
Touch of Dutch and
well, no, wasn't that when we did the different holidays that were being celebrated? We had the Christian holiday.
Well, yes, you had people from different cultures,
and we had the Jewish.
We did a holiday show, and yes, we included Hanukkah.
At the holidays, and we had a Santa Claus that was all dressed up, and we just tried to bring in all the different cultures. But the cultures in Leisure World are so amazing. The people are just wonderful. Yes, the Dutch and the, I don't even remember all the different ones we had because they talked about their dishes that they prepare for the special occasions and all. And